Hi everyone, here's a little showcase on the 3 Lady Dryads that we unlocked in the Gloaming Kickstarter.
They all start with this pencil illustration that I art direct through our digital sculptor, and I wanted to set myself sort of a brief, so I gave each of them a class in Dungeons & Dragons. So this is the Ranger, and this is the Bard. She's playing her hair as a harp, and she's got pan pipes, which pans back to obviously the original origins of Dryads with Greece. And obviously Mike has followed every single branch of that hair from the illustration. And then lastly, we have sort of a necromancer, sorcerer sort of type, but a tree creature. Obviously their undead are tree stumps, so she is necromantically raising tree stumps back from the dead, which would be quite a chunky army. Here is a visual breakdown of the colors and layers we're going to be putting on in the next couple stages. These images are available on the printable scenery website for you to grab. Okay, let's paint. Some scrag brown for the base of this redwood looking tree, make her vibrant, Rhinox hide for her bow. Let's do some Steel Legion drab for the base of our Bard with some Ogren camo leaves, get her a drier looking wood. And then Storm Firmin Ver for the base and some Castellian brown for the roots on the swampy old woods witch. Now let's dry brush outside with some good lighting. Sandry just to pop the redwood tree of the Ranger. Carrick stone for that lighter willow bark of our Bard. And for the witch, we are going to be mixing Administerium grey and Carrick stone. She's going to look really grey until the wash, but we are painting for the wash, so we'll cover that in a minute. But dry brushing, this is the same process I've done on all of them. Obviously, you get as little paint on your brush as possible. We all know about dry brushing. And we're kind of brushing against the grain, picking up all of those highlights, and we're kind of, see, we're faking kind of a 3D feel. You're almost like painting it like it's a painting, with as if light wasn't existing in the 3D realm here. And this is what they kind of came out there. A simple dry brush, and once you've dry brushed, then you can go in and do the details. I've used basically just a bone colored paint to pop all the underbark, and then whatever greens and mushroom colors you like. I've used a couple greens and just some yellow for the mushrooms, but just consistently that bone color pops all of the underbark, and you can do that now that you've dry brushed because you're not going to go over it again. And for the Woods Witch, exact same thing, except I've mixed a little bit of light grey into that bone colour. And here's what they look like. That's just them without the washes. And then obviously, after you've covered those underbark colours, we can pop leaves and mushrooms, as I've said, and you can see where the dry brushing is really working for that, and the different wood grains. It looks quite light now, but remember, you're painting for the wash, and all of those bright tones, conflicting tones, are going to merge together when we put their washes on. And as for the washes, the witch has a mix of Seraphim Sepia and Earthrax brown, because she's filthy. We want to get her looking nice and grubby, like she's just raised up out of the swamp, or you wouldn't even notice her in the swamp. That's how I try to design all these tree creatures. And kind of like the wood stain, when you're doing terrain with the wash, you're more kind of punching than painting. You want to get this in all of the gaps. You might not want to use your best brush for this, but for the Lady Bard here, we're again using that same wash we used on the Woods Witch, because we want a kind of a dark, earthy tree for her, and she's not going to come out as dark as the Woods Witch anyway, because we've painted her lighter and brighter in the first place. I've actually put a couple drops of water in with this mix as well. Now, Seraphim Sepia all the way for a lovely kind of redwood toned tree. I wanted her to be the most vibrant of all of the Dryad characters. I haven't used sepia on any of them, so this should make her stand out and pop, look younger and fresher and brighter, more energetic. She's the badass ranger.